So, Patty, I'm super excited today because we have not had a guest on the podcast in quite some time.
I think it's almost been, what, a whole year maybe?
Well,
last summer?
It was sometime last summer, so I feel bad for our guests because we may be a little rusty.
A little rusty on the edges, yeah.
But today we're going to talk about finding those destinations to take your RV in this episode of Travels with Delaney,
the podcast.
Welcome back, everyone. My name's Patrick.
And I'm Patty.
And today we are joined on the podcast sofa, although it's a new one.
It's a new sofa.
This is a new sofa than what we're used to, and it's bigger.
Yeah.
And instead of Truman and Bess, we've upgraded our guest list this week. I'd like to welcome our friends Randy and Caly Behymer from RV Destinations Magazine.
Hello, hello. I have to say, though, Truman and Bess have way better hair than I do. They've got some great hair on those dogs.
It is good hair, but it sheds so much.
Yeah. Mine kind of does these days, too.
Oh, well.
Leave a little over here.
I'd say I'm wondering if Randy's shedding, too.
Yeah. It might be a little bit.
A little bit. So, well, we are so excited to have you guys here with us because the last time we did this, we were doing it like via Zoom or something.
Yeah.
And it's much more fun in person.
Sure, absolutely.
But we always do this thing on our podcast at the beginning called This or That.
This or that, okay.
Instead of Patty being on the hot seat, we're going to put you two on the hot seat.
Ooh, I like it. Okay, bring it on.
This is really simple. It's just a this or that question.
Okay.
All right. So if you were told you could only choose one destination to take your RV to for the next year, meaning you're going to be parked there for a whole year, would you rather be at the beach or in the mountains?
Oh, that's
easy for me. I'd say beach, and Randy would say mountains.
I'll go ahead and speak for myself. But
okay.
She knows that's exactly true. We've had this conversation 1,000 times over. I'd be stuck up in the mountains
and I'd be sitting on a beach.
Or in the RV. Yeah.
That's kind of the way we are.
Yeah, we're split.
I have always been the bigger fan of mountains.
And I'm the beach.
And she's the beach. I don't like the sand, to be honest. I don't like it in my toes. And
I'm good for about 3 days, and it's like, now I'm bored. I mean, how long can you sit by the beach?
Right.
A year.
A long time.
A year. Patty and I, we're going to have this experiment. We're going to go to the beach for a year. We'll let you boys go to the mountains, and we'll reconvene, and we'll see how everything went.
Sounds like a deal to me.
Absolutely.
See, if you think about it, the mountains are going to be cooler if you're up in elevation.
True that.
You're going to have all the trails. You can go out hiking and exploring and never see the same thing twice.
Right.
At the beach, you wake up every morning and it's sand.
It's just beautiful.
It's
and if we want to be warmer, we just go down in elevation.
We just go down in elevation. We can warm up. But at the beach, where are you going to go to cool off?
But you're not getting the aura because I'm in my little chair. I got my feet in the water. I got my bucket of water because if I sip my drink and I get in the sand, oopsie, I put it right in my bucket. I don't get sand on me. I drink.
Wow.
I'm good.
It's beautiful.
I got a little plan here.
This
I've
is
got
somebody
my book.
My book.
You got your book? I was going to say, this is somebody who's really thought this out.
Switch.
I could bring my Switch. I totally could. I could bring
Under
my
an umbrella?
Nintendo's. Yes, under the umbrella.
Oh.
And then that wonderful just breeze coming in and the salty air and then fresh seafood for dinner like every night.
Well, of course, cute boys walking.
Oh,
by.
exactly. Be like, hey.
Little cabana boys.
Can you
That's
suntan
right.
me lotion
a
up?
little, right here.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Telling you. We've got the better plan. You guys hang out with the bears in the woods.
And the
mountain women.
All right, you got us. All right. Well, anyway, we just do that. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And, sometimes they're easy. Sometimes they're hard. But,
They are hard sometimes.
Yeah.
Like,
Sometimes I give Patty like an option
Toughies.
of 2 things she hates and makes her
I'm like,
choose
yeah.
one. Yeah. That's always fun.
Like, you're mean.
Well, today what I thought we would do is we'd talk about the magazine. Obviously, you guys have this amazing magazine, which is
Beautiful.
now in what? It's 4th year, 3rd year?
We started in July 2020.
Yeah,
fourth year. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it started as digital only.
That's right.
And now, effective, it was last summer, I believe.
June, we officially launched sales for a print edition. Yeah,
print edition. Right. And I have to tell you, it is absolutely phenomenal. The print edition, to me, it's something you never want to get rid of. The quality of the actual magazine. I mean, this is not, for those of you watching us on YouTube, this is an amazing quality. I mean, it's just something I never want to get rid of. Like, I am saving every issue.
Well, just the pages are so
I mean, they're so nice in the photography.
And the beautiful
And
pictures.
then, so if you sign up, you have 4 episodes. They're not episodes in a magazine, are they? They're editions, issues. Huh? So you can tell I'm a YouTube guy, not a print guy. A year. But today what I really want to focus on is the big issue that comes out once a year, and it's your top destinations for that year. And this magazine, I believe, I shouldn't even be telling it because you guys can tell it, but it's a little bit bigger in terms of the actual physical size. So you'll know when it comes if you get this one.
That's right.
And this is, I think you told me one time, this is the best of the best of the best.
It is.
Yeah, so we've got 25 writers, as we've told you in the past, and with this magazine here, we specifically invite writers to write in this one. And I know that sounds kind of quirky, but let's put it this way: we identify the ones we want to write in that way,
right?
Because we want our best pitchers, we want our best writers, we want the best of
the best of the best,
right?
Yeah.
And so that's exactly what it is. But so this was actually the start of the first print edition. So we've been getting emails and calls since day one. Actually, prior to even launching the digital version, we were getting, we were building a lot of hype about the magazine, and people were saying, we're going to have a print version, you're going to have a print version. But pretty much every single week, we would get 1, 2, 3 emails for the first 3 years. Are you going to have a printed version? And so this was our first, taste or first stab at the print edition.
Right.
And we wanted something bigger. We decided we were not going to do this digitally. It was only going to be print. And so that's 8.5 by 11, which you're correct. It's larger than our quarterly. Our quarterly is 8 by 10.5.
Okay.
And there's a reason for that because the 8 by 10.5 translates into our digital version. And so we've got to keep it that. Otherwise, we're designing two completely different magazines. So that's why it's shorter. But this, a lot more pages in this, so you're going to get a lot more full-page spreads, a lot more pictures, and so it's really designed to be a coffee table style book.
And almost no advertising. There is one ad in that entire magazine.
Wow.
So, and for that reason, because this is the best of the best of the destinations, and we want to give our readers that content versus filling it up with a bunch of ads that's going to take away from that content.
Yeah, we're committed to keeping the ads really low in this one. We get beat up by the sales team. They want to put some ads in this, and we allowed the one this year, and probably going to allow a couple in the next year, but we're going to keep it very, very, extremely
minimal.
limited.
Yeah, that was one of the first things I noticed looking through the first time I received a copy was I'm like, normally you buy a magazine, and there is just so much advertising, like every third page there's an ad or that type of thing. And I remember thinking there's really hardly any ads in it. Like it's all photos and articles and things like that.
And we really focus on that. Even in our quarterly edition, we really work hard on bringing the destination content versus bringing you a bunch of ads.
Right.
You can go out and Google black tank treatment. You can go out and Google, this product or that product. But sometimes, Googling a destination is challenging because you don't know what you don't know about a destination.
Right.
And that's why we want to just bring as much content as possible.
Well, getting back to the advertising, too, in the publishing industry in general, not just the RV publishing, but in general, most magazines have to operate at a 40, 50, or 60% ad ratio of the magazine because print costs are companies are backing out of print everywhere.
Yeah.
They're going to digital, and print is actually becoming a luxury item versus, back in the day when everybody was print. And so we kind of did things backwards. We started digital, and then we went print, which is the complete opposite of the way most people do. But we feel like there's still a lot of people out there that see the value in the tangible product in their hand, and so that's why we put it out there.
Well, and I think you had mentioned to us that once you did the print, you saw subscriptions go up.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a sign that people still want to hold it in their hand and flip through the pages. And
our subscribership, I'm trying to think of the numbers here. Let's just say that we almost doubled in size within the first 6 months of offering the print than we did for the whole year. I mean, it really took off tremendously.
I think, and I don't want to make print sound like it's gone away and now we're nostalgic for it, but I think there is a little of that. I mean, because there's not as much stuff in print. So many people are getting their newspapers digitally and even magazines digitally and things like that. So I'm thinking, especially for RVers who I haven't seen any recent statistics, but I think typically we tend to be a little bit older audience as a whole. I know we've seen a lot of younger people coming into RVing, but I think for those of us that are a little bit older, to be able to receive this in the mail and flip through the pages, and again, if you love photography, I mean, the photography is just phenomenal in here. And then, like I said, we're literally holding on to these.
We hold them all.
That's great.
Because they're so nice, and I think they're going to be a great reference guide for years to come. So when you're, like, hey, Patty, where are we going to go on a trip?
Yeah.
Well, let's get out our
Absolutely.
back issues of RV Destinations and thumb through and find someplace we've never been. And so, I mean, what you're creating to me is just fabulous.
Yeah, we hope, long term or sometime in the future, let's just say it that way, we want to create little boxes where you can put them all in there in a nice little
that would be awesome.
Like a shelf thing. And so
now you're talking at my alley.
Yeah.
So we've long thought that that's a direction we want to go. And maybe we'll give those free to people that have subscribed over 2 years or something. We haven't figured all the details out, but that's something we definitely want to do to make them because you're right. We don't think people would want to throw these away, and when we designed it, we did that on purpose.
Yes.
We want them to keep it because we want you to be able to go back and reference different trips.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know how much I can give away from this edition because we don't want to give it all away, and then people won't buy it. But I'm assuming if they go on the website, they will see this, or if they're on YouTube, they're seeing it right now. And this year's cover for this Top Destinations edition is what?
The beach. It's Corolla Beach, and my mind just went blank. It's near Kitty Hawk.
Yes.
What's that?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's Outer Banks.
The Outer Banks.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
So one of our writers, Gwendolyn Call, went out there and she spent some time out there and just really did an amazing job on the article. And the minute I saw the pictures, I'm like, that's going to be the cover this year.
Okay.
So.
And I love how you always wrap it
around.
And so if you flip around, most magazines,
It's
you
just
flip
a big
around
ad.
and it's like a big old ad for buy
Right.
this. And yours, we continue the photo of the beach with the horses. I don't know how you found pictures of Patty's relatives to put on the
Oh, dear.
So much love.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
no,
feeling
it's
it.
actually gorgeous. But the other thing that caught me on the front is you talk about one of my favorite places to
Booth
visit
Bay.
is Booth Bay Harbor
We love
up in
Booth Bay.
Maine.
Yep.
And so that becomes one of the featured locations inside.
Right, right. And that's one of our writers actually lives in Maine, and she covers Maine pretty frequently, and we love it because Callie and I have I've been up to Maine. I've been to Bar Harbor.
Yeah, and I
in
never
Acadia.
have
it's
to make it up
beautiful.
there.
Yeah.
We had a trip planned and just, COVID. COVID. So we'll just leave it at that.
I'm curious, was there any other destinations for the front cover that was in the running to be on the front cover as far as the photo?
Well, Randy. So the thing is that he, his pictures are usually on the front.
Right.
And he says, if somebody else can beat him out, then we'll put that other image on the front.
It's a friendly competition thing. It sounds arrogant, but I tell him if you can beat my picture, I'll give you an extra bonus for beating me on the cover. And she got a bonus because
so this was not your photo.
No,
this was your writer that's down
yeah,
Gwendolyn
this is
Call's
photo.
Yep.
And the minute I saw it, I was like, that's got to be the photo. So I've got an article in there. We've got an article in there that we wrote. We just wrote one article in this edition, and it's about beyond Monument Valley. And there's a place called House of Fire out there, and it's this beautiful Pueblo. She makes fun of me every time I say it.
He like
Every time I say it.
Puebloan.
What's that?
Pueblo.
Puebloan.
Puebloan.
Well, what's the active verb of that? We do this all the time.
To
don't we?
Pueblo.
Anyway, it's a pueblo that when the sun hits it right, it looks like it's on fire, and there's a picture of it in there, and that was probably that was probably going to be the one that had this picture not come along.
Nice.
So. Wow, so you actually lost your
Yeah.
own competition.
But,
and I have several times.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
Oh, you
not all
have?
my
Oh,
pictures,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in all fairness, Randy kind of has the competitive
The advantage.
edge
Right.
because we're going into a destination and he is looking for the cover shot where our writers are just
They're looking at
Right.
the big picture.
right. They're just
Right.
taking
Yeah,
the
that's
pictures.
right.
So if we've chosen some of our writers for the cover shots, and it's just because the image is just so incredible. So
But
it's fun. It's fun.
It's I have no problem if somebody beats me.
Sure.
I enjoy it.
Although,
because
ask me if any of my pictures have made the cover. No, not a single one that I've taken.
I'll give her the extra money too, the bonus money.
Yeah.
But she hasn't gotten it yet.
And I haven't got it yet, so maybe one
right.
day. I've been on the cover though,
Yeah,
which was kind of cool. Yeah, I'm handing out autographs later.
Okay.
So, of the destinations that are in here, do you have one that's like your favorite?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I know it may be different for the two of
Yeah.
you, but like where you were just like, oh, I'm so glad this one's in there because I just love going there.
There's a lot of places that we haven't been there. Now, we've been to this Outer Banks, the beach where the horses are.
Yeah.
But when we were there, we only saw one horse.
One random horse.
Quinlan got to see multiple horses, and she spent about I think she said a week there. I may be wrong on that, but she got to see a lot of horses. And so, it was an amazing thing. But we were driving around looking for a horse, and here's this horse, set against a wild horse, mind you.
Yeah.
Set against the beach. And it's just
a dichotomy.
Yeah, it's just so different and something you don't see every day.
Yeah.
So.
Have you ever been up to Assateague Island up in Maryland, I believe?
No.
So they have wild horses, both, and it runs quite a way south down to an area called Chincoteague. Chincoteague. Yeah.
There's a book about it. The kids read Chincoteague.
And so we camped at Assateague Island. Oh, my gosh, that was probably about 2016.
Yep.
And it was crazy because you have these wild horses just roaming the beach and then roaming into the campground.
Oh, wow.
And putting their muzzles right
looking
into
for free food.
into the
right.
cars.
Oh, my
and the
gosh.
tents
and
the,
so I have some photos, not like cover
Not
photo
like that,
quality, but just photos of these horses and our RV, and they're right there by our picnic table.
Wow.
That would be amazing.
That would be so cool.
So, yeah, I think the horses, if anybody can experience,
they're beautiful.
Seeing these wild horses.
Yeah.
Right. So getting back to your question.
Yeah, back to the
question. So it's interesting. We get asked this question a lot, like, what's your favorite destination? And this is the analogy we use. It's like picking your favorite kid. Like, if you've got 3 kids, like, which one's your favorite? Some days it might be this one.
Yeah.
Some days it might be that one.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's kind of like, it's just what you feel, and that changes every day. And so, but I can tell you, every single one of those places, there's several of them we haven't been to.
Yeah, like I am dying to go to Beaufort. Like our writer that's written about Beaufort, I'm like, I want to go. I want to go so bad.
And the magazine's actually doing for us what we wanted to do for all our viewers, and that inspires us. It gives us, she'll be editing. There's a house on fire right now. You just turn to the. So when the light hits it, you can see that it just lights
the
it
whole
up like
roof
a flame.
looks like it's on fire.
crazy.
It's incredible.
But she was editing frequently she's editing. Actually, she's always editing. But she's like, man, this is such an amazing place. I want to go.
Yeah, because I read through the kind of final magazine. I make all the edits. Yes, it can stay. No, it has to go. And I've read Beaufort, and I'm like, I want to go. I want to go to Beaufort, and so many locations that I read about, and I'm like, this sounds amazing.
I remember listening to your podcast. I don't think it was that long ago on Beaufort, where you had the podcast, and the whole time I'm like, oh my gosh, we have been to Hilton Head multiple times.
Yeah.
We've been to Bluffton, which is right next door. And so it's like, oh my gosh, now I want to go to Beaufort.
Right.
And like we were literally within miles of this place, and we never took the time to drive over there.
Right.
But if it hadn't been for your podcast, because that was the first time I heard it, and now that it's in the magazine, we can read about it and get ready. And so, yeah, I'm excited for that one. So.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Low country boil.
Yeah,
exactly. Ooh, that sounds
Everything
good.
revolves around food with us when we travel. So.
How can it not? I think, and that's what's so great about traveling too, is not only you get to experience these different destinations, but just the cultures, even in the United States, how different it can be, not that far apart from one location to the next. And so I think it's fun to go in and, try a local food, whatever that may be.
Right.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's forget the magazine for a second. What is, and I know you're going to have to pick a favorite child, but is there a location where you're just like, if I had to make one location the favorite place I've ever RV'd, is there some place where it's just, and I know those are always tough questions, I know, but I think it's always interesting to see where, like, if you could only go back to one, maybe let me phrase it that way.
So, and we're going to be doing a podcast later on
I know.
So Key West feels like home for us because we've spent usually from sometime in November, December, all the way till January or February each year we stay down there. That feels like home. But a place that I go to and I just like, this is just such an amazing place. Every time we go there is Monument Valley. I just love the Monument Valley area, the whole area itself. And unfortunately, in that area, I don't know if you two have been there, but a lot of people just go see the Monument Valley, the tribal park there, and then they leave. And there's so much more to do in the area, and that's what the article in there is all about. Like, hey, go see Monument Valley for sure,
but then go see
all the other stuff
things.
around here.
Yeah.
And so it's just really a cool area.
Yeah.
I think that happens a lot, though. A good example is up at Acadia in Maine.
Yeah.
You know, everybody goes to Acadia and they go out on the island, and don't get me wrong, it's gorgeous out there.
Yep.
But that's where everybody's at.
Yep.
If you take time and you go explore just a little ways away from there, there's so much to see and do, but people just are so focused on like the monument or Acadia, the main island, not Acadia like Schoodic Point, which is off the main island, but is absolutely gorgeous. And hardly anyone goes over there, although they may start going if we keep talking about it.
You know, we find the same thing, very similar story, but in Yellowstone, like it is so packed. Because people are getting in their car going from one point to the next point. If you get on a hike and you go a half mile out,
there's nobody.
There's absolutely nobody. And so I always encourage people, get out there and hike, get out there and get away from the crowd.
Yeah, because it doesn't take that long, and all of a sudden you feel like you have the whole park to yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. And we love to do that. You know, of course, go see, you know, the springs and the mud pots and all that. You've got to go see all that. But get out there and get away from the crowds and see how beautiful Yellowstone really is.
And I think that's true for any kind of park or national park. In fact, I just finished writing about a destination that's coming out soon, and I had said, you know, if you're willing to walk 3/4 of a mile to a mile out on this trail, you're going to feel like you have the whole place to yourself.
You can release it. It's not a secret.
Maybe I'm going to keep it a secret and just make everybody go, now I have to buy that edition.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Speaking of buying that edition, if somebody's interested in getting the magazine, this seems like a perfect segue to tell us how they could get the magazine to find out where that spot is.
Yeah, so you can go to rvdestinationsmagazine.com/subscribe, and there we're going to have all the different options on how to subscribe to the magazine, because we still offer digital subscriptions, we offer print subscriptions, and then we have a combination of the two in some way, shape, or form. And then you can either get that edition by itself, or you can get what we call the VIP package, get everything. So you get the quarterly edition, you get this special annual edition, and you get all of the digital back issues to all of our old magazines as well. So you're going to get all this great destination content.
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't just do the VIP package.
Right, just get it all.
Yeah.
Coming from someone who forgot to sign up for the VIP package. Signed up for the print and digital combo package.
I like the print.
Yeah.
Yes,
but I
too.
like the ability to go back to the old editions that weren't in print.
Exactly, because there's when we went to print, we had to scale back our magazines. I mean, our magazines on the digital side, prior to going print, were hundreds of pages. I mean, there was so much content.
We had one that was over 400 pages.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a lot, because we were giving you so many images, because there really was no cost constraints in the digital world, and that's one of the beautiful things about the digital world, but we had to scale it way back. I think on average we were at 200-something pages, but we had to scale it all the way back to 84 when we went to print because of cost.
Yeah.
And so now we're actually, we haven't revealed this yet, but we're actually moving that up in pages. We've been talking to our printer, and we're going to be taking the quarterly up to the same amount that this one is, which is, I believe, 96
pages. Yeah, I think it's 96 pages.
So we're going to be adding 12 more pages into our quarterly edition. So it's going to be a little bit thicker.
And if anybody wants to sign up on any of the packages, whether you just want the digital, the print, the VIP, I will leave a link in the show notes. And if you're watching on YouTube, down in the video description, and I believe I have a coupon code they've given us that'll save you a little bit of money on whichever package. Yeah.
Money!
Wow.
Patty and I are starting our own show. It's coming on after this.
Is it? Okay, yeah. What will that be called? Do we know yet? Like
Amazing.
Amazing. That works.
I like
two women on a beach with their cabana boy.
Yes.
It's a singing duo.
That's right.
With a cabana boy wiping your
forehead. I love it. I love it.
Fans.
So did you want to reveal that location? I know I kind of segued, or are we going to make them?
It's going to be Moab.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
Moab,
talk about
Utah.
Arches and Canyonlands.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's on our bucket list.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was just there was so much to do there.
Oh, I bet.
Even outside of the national parks, because I think people think I'm going to go to Moab, I'm going to hit the national parks, and then I'm going to leave, and it's there's so much more, you know. So and that's what's great again about the content we try to give readers is, you know, we understand people are a lot of times restricted on time that they can take a trip and go see a destination. So we're trying to give them as much information on things to see and do at that location so they can really maximize their dollars and their time there.
Absolutely.
Now, you had a question, I believe, about in any of the magazines. Do you remember? You asked me if I
don't
knew.
remember.
Okay, well, I will cue Patty's question. Patty wanted to know when you're putting the magazine together.
Oh, yes.
Go ahead.
Well, no, wait.
Oh, my goodness. How you decide what locations do you do, like, are they all going to be in one area of the country? Do you group them together? Do you spread them out? Like, how do you decide that?
We really try to scatter them across the United States so that when you get an issue, whether you live on the West Coast, the East Coast, or somewhere in the middle, there will be a destination near you or at least some place that you can go travel to that you're hoping to hit the West Coast or the East Coast.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and that way, you know, you're not opening the magazine and going, everything's out West and I live in Pennsylvania. This is not going to work for me in my time frame.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so we've got a catalog. Catalog might be a poor choice of word, but we've got a
good supply
of articles already that have been submitted, and then we've got a constant flow coming in, and so we're able to kind of pick and choose and kind of move them around. So the geographic location it's in, plus the pictures, we try to make sure that all the pictures kind of match. We try to do a mountain location and maybe a beach location when we can. We can't always do that because we don't have the material, but
But that way, somebody that gets their most recent edition, there's going to be a little of something for no matter where you live.
Exactly. A little something for everyone, regardless of where you live, which is great.
And I have to be honest, even if you don't own an RV, this magazine, I mean, you can live vicariously through the magazine.
Our neighbors who are not RVers have a subscription to the magazine, and they use it frequently to plan trips. They've planned several from our magazine, and they just fly into a location, they get hotels, rent a car, and then create all these trips off of the magazine, which I think is super cool. And they're like, we're not RVers, we're never going to RV, but this is literally a vacation guide in our hand.
Yeah.
I usually tell people it's got to, it's all about the destination, but it has an RV twist to it.
Right. Like
so,
campgrounds.
We'll say like stay here at this campground, and we do campground, reviews and stuff like that in there. But the vast majority of it is just what to do, what to see, when to go, and all that stuff.
Nice.
Right. Well, I don't know if you know this, but Patty teaches writing in English.
I do.
Oh.
And she said to me last night, she said, gee, maybe I could write an article. So
yes,
if
can.
If you're looking for an article that starts off like, we went to Tennessee on our summer vacation. It is
we
very
had
beautiful.
Fun.
It is very beautiful.
That's was
He's
nice.
picking on me because I teach fifth grade.
She teaches fifth grade. So I said, I don't know if they're looking for a fifth grade level writer.
Yeah.
Well, don't they say you're supposed to write to a sixth grade education? Most people.
Yeah. She might be perfect.
You're perfect.
No, I believe I've read that somewhere. I don't think I'm making that up.
And she taught sixth grade for how many years before moving to fifth grade? So
wow.
So all you have to do is step up a grade. Just
just one grade.
I just can't get out of fifth grade now. They won't
let you graduate.
Yeah.
So the podcast. Let's real quick talk about the podcast because I think the magazine is awesome. But I love the podcast as well. So how did the podcast all come about? And
so we were at the York,
Pennsylvania
RV show, and you had a booth set up because trying to get our name out there. And a lady stops by and she's like, "You guys have a podcast, right?" We're like, "We don't actually." And she's like, "You should really get one," because we were sitting there talking with her, and she's like, "Well, what do you guys do?" And we were talking, and she's like, "You guys should really get one or start one." And she walked away, and I could see his wheels turning, and he's like, "We need to start a podcast."
Yeah, so I mean, immediately my mind was like, we've got all these writers.
Yeah.
We got a topic to talk about.
Right.
I'm like, I have most of the equipment because I've been in band pretty much my whole life, and I've got microphones and all this type of stuff. It's like, there's really just a few things we would need, and we could do this. We could launch this.
Yeah.
And so it was literally within a month we had launched it. So, I mean, it was that quick.
And it was great because, like Randy said, I mean, we have this constant supply of content, and then we've just broken it down to make it really easy on a lot of our podcasts. And it's just the top 10 things to do in Beaufort, the top 10 things to do in Monument Valley, the top 10 things to do, here. And then we have those, we've made them into PDFs, and they're available free on our website, so that if you're heading into Savannah, Georgia, and you're just curious where to start your vacation, you go print off one of these PDFs and take it with you, and it's a great guide as to, top 10 things to do while you're there.
Yeah, we really want to be the resource for destination content for RVers.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was our goal when we started this company. It's going to continue to be our goal. We want everybody to come, and we're starting to give more and more content away free through the PDFs, through the podcasts, through our blogs on our website and different things like that. So we're going to continue to do that.
Right.
We got some really exciting things coming down the pipe in the next year or two that we're going to be rolling out as well.
And now you're taking the podcast visual.
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah,
you get to see our mugs once a week.
This is something that I felt like was a very important step for us to take, but it's, everybody's like, what's the workload difference?
If you all could see all of this out here,
it's
whew.
It's a big step. As you know, you've got the video podcast, but we've got a great editor, and really it's more on me just figuring out everything. Remember to turn on all the buttons. And stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so like our video podcast is like, you remember those kids' toys would be like my first whatever? Our podcast is like my first podcast compared to like Hollywood just showed up and set up
It's like we've got cases over here, we've got plastic bins, there's backpacks, there's wires and cables going everywhere. I mean, it's hysterical.
I feel like before we start, you're going to have like a makeup area that we
all
have to go
we
to.
do. We get to
the green
powder our
room's
nose.
right over there. So.
Green room.
Yeah, we have some alcohol and some bourbon
That's
over
right.
there.
That's right.
Be comfy.
And where can people find the video version?
So the video versions, we've got a channel out there. We're just
on
getting
YouTube.
it started on YouTube. Yeah. It's just at RV Destinations, I believe, is the
that's going to be the YouTube channel, or is the YouTube channel.
And so what we're doing right now, and there's not a whole lot out there because we've never really worked the channel up until here recently, but we are starting to release the audio-only versions out there. That way we have all the audio out there once we go live. And I think we're going live on June 12th, the first video.
Yeah.
And the first 3 or 4, it's Caly and I, just trying to work out the kinks. So
Sure.
Like I had a baseball cap on the first one, and I was looking, my camera was like here, and all you could see was the top of my hat. So you live and learn. You figure things out.
Absolutely.
But anyway.
All right. So go ahead. Head over to YouTube, get subscribed. Let's get you some subscribers.
Thank you.
And then be ready for that launch of the first video version in June, and see if you're already subscribed. And by the way, it costs absolutely nothing to subscribe to a YouTube channel.
Exactly. It's FREE, free, as I like to say.
There you go.
Yes.
So, this is awesome. So you got 3 ways you can purchase the magazine, you can listen to the audio podcast, or now you're going to be able to watch the podcast.
Yep.
And so, well, guys, thank you so much for taking time to sit down with us. Anything else you want to share before we wrap this thing up?
No, more than anything, we designed this magazine as RVers for RVers, and it's really a passion of ours just to get great destination content out there to readers and go out and try something new. Yep. Go out and try a new location. Step outside of your comfort zone, because this country of ours is incredible. It's beautiful, and go explore it. Go support it.
Yeah, we appreciate all that you've done to help support the magazine. And I tried to give Patrick a free subscription. He wouldn't have it. He said, I want to be objective. And so he bought his own subscription, although I think I've talked him into when it renews that I'll give it that. But you've always been a big cheerleader for us, and we appreciate that. So thank you very much.
No, I just didn't want anybody saying like, you're only promoting the magazine because you got a free subscription. So that's why I made sure I paid for our subscription. So then now we really like the magazine.
The rest of the story.
You know the rest of the story. So, I mean, I think you can be objective if you get it for free. But this way, I knew the first time I was like, it was just something. Because I remember you were like, why did you pay for your subscription? I would have gave you one for free. I'm like, I know you would have. but I want people to know that's how much we actually love your content.
I think that's special because most people don't do that. Most channels don't do that, and so that's real special. And we're here at Happy Acres talking about the podcast. But, you invited us to talk about our product in front of a group here. We had product demonstration on Saturday morning. And
that was fun.
It was fun.
We had one of your followers that came up to us and said, I subscribe to your magazine. I love it. And that just kind of confirms all that we're doing.
What you're doing.
Right.
Affirmation.
We love that.
Yep.
Yeah.
That, for me, gives me a high. It really does.
Sure does.
We're the same way. I mean, as YouTubers, when somebody comes up and says, hey, thank you, you inspired us, or you helped us through a situation, that's really when you get excited about what you do, because you realize you're making a difference in people's lives. And I know it's going to sound like a sales pitch, but this magazine will, because there are going to be people not knowing where to go with their RV. And now you just opened a whole world of possibilities to them that they wouldn't have had otherwise. So
for sure.
That's awesome. Yep.
Well, thank you so much. And a big shout out to our friend and producer, Mr. Jim Kuzman.
Thank you, Jim.
Jim's the one that he makes us all sound really good on audio.
He needs to work on the video.
We keep asking how he can make Patty and I look better in video.
Is there a filter for this?
He said, I think he said something like, I'm a sound engineer, not a miracle worker. Anyway, well, thank you to all of you for taking time out of your day to listen or watch us over on YouTube. And until next time, we'll see you
on down the road.
Bye.
Bye.
Travels with the lady. We'll see you on down the road.